Today's MMA Tea Company fight preview is with Tyler Funky Bones Jones. Tyler's going to be defending his 165-pound belt on January 22nd against Sheldon Struble. Tyler and Sheldon are both undefeated, so somebody's O has got to go. Tyler, thanks for joining me today. I know you just got done sparring in some mitts. How many more sparring sessions you got until you are ready to fight?
So the fight's on the 29th.
Oh, 29th. Sorry, 29th.
This weekend will probably be like the last hard training session, and then next week probably still like flow with some striking techniques and some practices, but no crazy sparring or anything like that. And then fight week is always mostly focusing on getting the weight down and feeling good come fight night.
And you have a chosen few belt at 165. Now, is that something that they've been doing for a while? Is that something they presented to you and they were like, hey, we are going to have this weight class of 165? Because it's not a traditional weight class in the sense of most MMA promotions.
Yeah, so I think what brought it on was I won the 65 belt here in Chicago for Fight Card Entertainment, and they have had a 165 division long standing for quite some time. And when we booked the Kai fight, actually I think we booked the Kai fight before I even booked my title fight, but that was always going to be at 65. And I think it's just two guys who are looking to get down to 55 but not yet made the lifestyle changes needed there. Once I won that belt, I think it kind of upped the ante, and they said, all right, we'll put the belt on the line too. Kai was a hometown kid. He was from Chosen Few's gym. So it kind of raised the stakes and made it make sense to be a title fight. But I love the weight class. I think it's a great middle ground for guys who are a little bit too small for 70 like myself. And I wish it was a little more widely recognized. I know Illinois, Indiana, and Wisconsin keep that weight class pretty active, even in the pro ranks. So it could be something I look to continue at, but my end goal is going to be to get to 55. Just got to make sure that I walk around a little lighter,
And when you say end goal, is that something that you'd like to do when you make your pro debut? Do it at 55?
Yeah, I think what we're tossing around is potentially to do my first 55 fight, my last amateur fight. Mm-hmm. That way I kind of get the feel for what it's like to make that cut and what it's like to have that size advantage and to just kind of feel myself around in there. The thing is though, is that last amateur fight is going to be coming soon, right? I'm 27 years old. So I'm not running out of time, but I don't have a ton of it. You know what I mean? So I want to make sure that I'm proactive, and especially in the world we live in today where you're not really sure when the next large time frame of inactivity can come. I want to make sure, like I said, I think in our first interview, I want to put myself in striking distance of going pro ASAP. I'm really starting to feel like my skill level is at that of a pro fighter, and it's just a matter of showing it come fight night.
And that level that you speak of, is it one single thing that you're starting to notice in the gym? Is it that things are starting to come together between the transition of grappling to striking? Is it more that you can be reactionary and not thinking as much? Is there something you can put your finger on to say like, okay, I feel like I'm at that level now?
A little bit of everything you just hit on. Coming from a grappling background and just competing so heavily grappling, I've always felt grappling come fight night has always just made sense, and it's very easy to not change my game whatsoever when it comes to being in a fight. Striking, on the other hand, there's always been just maybe a few techniques that I really, really liked, and I would stick to those and just kind of throw those without setup, without fakes, without feints, without any of that stuff, and sometimes not even in competition. Now I feel like I'm really starting to understand who I am as a fighter on my feet, and really starting to dial things in I've only been training jiu-jitsu for 3 years, and I've only been striking for maybe 2.5 of those years. Not even. I got to intercept probably a little under 2 years ago. So striking is still like relatively new to me, under like a dedicated coach like Danny. So now as I progress in my career and I spend all this time in the gym, I'm starting to see and pick things up that I used to know are coming, but I wouldn't be able to have the defense time. Now I'm really starting to cash in and spend time and sharpen my tools.
And now that you're starting to sense that striking is coming along and you're getting more comfortable with just the techniques and like you said, knowing what's coming in and how to react to it, is showcasing your striking something that you're looking to do? Is it something that you want to say like, hey, I'm not just a grappler, like I'm going to go out and I'm going to put on a show with my hands and with my kicks and let people know, I'm well-rounded now?
Yeah, 100%. I think I want to make that statement. I think that everyone I fight is gonna have grappling in their mind when they sign out agreement to fight me. So becoming a dangerous striker and showing that I do have knockout power and I can hurt feet, it's only gonna make people more tentative to fight me, because I want to be the type of fighter where I'm going to force you to have to take me down, and I feel comfortable off my back, and I feel comfortable with wrestling, and I feel comfortable in those scramble positions. So the first step to making that a dangerous combination is to be dangerous on my feet. Stand-up is way more fun than grappling in an MMA fight, to be honest, especially at amateur, right? Because I saw this is a big lesson I learned in my Slade fight. It was a 5-round fight. I took him down all 5 rounds and was, I probably had out of the, 18 minutes of fight time, probably, 16 minutes of it, maybe more, 17 minutes of it were control time on top, so that became a difficult task because you can't elbow on top. It's all small strikes, and you kind of feel like, man, if I posture up here, I'm going to lose position. How do I cross this bridge? And I think striking, doing the damage on the feet, and then using that to get your takedowns and start to look for finishes is definitely something that's more applicable at the amateur level. And then when we make the jump to pro, there's a lot more things we can do, but just focusing on one thing at a time, I think that's the biggest evolution that I've been striding towards in my game, and I've seen glimpses of it in all my fights. In the last fight we dropped the guy with the head kick, but couldn't quite finish it. And other fights we've landed big kicks and big punches, but couldn't quite add on. And I'm starting to finally feel like I know how to get those finishes and openings a little bit more.
And I just talked to Derek Overstreet about this. He said that he has a progression, right, of techniques with striking where he'll have to learn something new, and it's for a while like he's been training it, but he hasn't broken it out in a fight until he really feels comfortable doing it sparring, and it becomes a natural reaction. Are there going to be striking techniques that we're going to see from you in this fight that you've got over that hump where you're like, all right, this feels so natural, I'm going to bring this out in the fight now?
Yeah, I think so. There's a specific like system that me and Pierre have been working on. Pierre's a pro fighter, savage light heavyweight, just a savant of a striker. And in conjunction with Danny going over some shots, it's almost like Pierre's been working on what's the system that we play when we're kind of in autopilot, when we're kind of trying to draw things out. And then Danny is kind of working on what shots do we land and they hurt, what technique up. So it's this amalgamation of two systems coming together to have the same end goal, and they work off each other so perfectly. It's just great to have the opportunity to like sit down and work on 2 completely separate things in stand up that will cash out the same way. But yeah, to answer your question, there's going to be a specific system that I go to not only in this fight, but many afterwards, where I think I can kind of find my comfort zone and get reactions from this base point of striking, you know, this base combination, these base range founders that I'm going to be able to.
Yeah, and once you build that foundation, right, then it's kind of endless in possibilities of where you can go from that.
Right. I think one of my that I feel is one of my best is the ability to be creative and but that doesn't come until I set things up, right? And that's something I struggle with my entire career. Every sparring session ever is that I'll too often try and jump to, all right, let's start throwing some fun stuff without setting anything up. Like I don't have the respect to throw fun stuff yet, you know? So that's really been, I think the main evolution in my game is to really set things up with good technique. And then once I get the bites, once I get the looks I'm looking for, I could really start to open up. And then that's when the fun stuff comes out. And that's where the highlight reels come out.
And speaking of getting what you're looking for, is there anything specific that you're looking for Sheldon to do when he comes out, when he comes to fight? I know he wasn't your original opponent, but he's who you have now.
Yeah, I think Sheldon's going to be, you know, Sheldon's good everywhere. He's a tough guy. Given I just fought his teammate Kai, and Kai was able to have success on top of me for 2 rounds, you know, and Sheldon. So I think that Sheldon's gonna try and push me up against the cage and try and get me on my back. You know, if it comes to striking, I would like to hit some stand up and feel comfortable on my feet with him. But I do feel like he's going to bring the pressure and he's going to lock up with me quite a bit. And I'm okay with that. You know, it goes back full circle to what we talked about in the beginning, where I want to be the type of fighter where I could find a finish regardless of the position you put me in, you know, and I think I put that on display in my last fight, right? Arguably down 2 rounds. And still found a submission win and still found a way to get the W. And I think that's one of my main confidence points going into any fight is the longer I'm in there with you, the more of an opportunity I have to figure you out. And I will figure you out. You can't give me the time to figure you out or I'm going to finish you. And that's something that I think is going to carry me throughout my whole career, you know? So whatever Sheldon does, I'm not worried about it. I'm worried about what I'm going to do to him. And I think that it's a tough fight, but I think that I'll have the ability to edge him everywhere.
Awesome, man. We're looking forward to it. I know it's always exciting when you get to fight, and you know we're looking for, or you're looking for, you know, to finish people wherever it goes. So that makes a fight exciting. Before I let you go, just wanted to give you a chance to shout out, you know, anybody who's been helping you out between, you know, coaches, training partners, sponsors. You know, floor is yours.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, huge shout out to Danny Summers, Pierre Walters. There's 2 guys who have been instrumental in me really making the transition from guy jiu-jitsu to legit MMA trying to go pros. Endless shout out to them. Anthony Farrow for sharpening up my jiu-jitsu. Shout out to all my sponsors. You got Ken's Landscaping, Skeptic Distillery, Key City Lending. There's so many to go on. Shout out to MMA Tico. I mean, with the service that you guys provide to us is, I mean, it changes the game for us. You know, it's someone coming from me, who's someone who's to pay up front for t-shirts and just hope that everyone came through and actually bought the t-shirts. I didn't lose all the money that I spent on t-shirts or get stuck with the 18 triple XLs that someone made me order never bought. You guys help out so much. I mean, being able to ship and come up with these awesome logos and gear. So shout out to you guys, man. You guys make things easy. And then shout out to my family and my girlfriend as well. Without them, you know, this is it's a hard life. Training, as you know, like coming home every night, 10 p.m., tired, beat down. You need a good support system, a support system that really understands. And you know, without that, things definitely would be tougher. So shout out to them.
Awesome, man. Thanks for the promo. Appreciate it. Kick some ass on the 29th.
Sure.
All right. Thanks, Tyler.